love you too.
There was no one else to blame me. In a blink, my family was taken from me, the world now in ruins. I had no choice but to find my son, even if his light too had expired. Outside of that, I only had a singular and obvious option remaining. I would scour these desolate lands with endless hope of reunion. I would quickly cut down any obstacle on my path. That path began with this man. Despite my odds, despite my hatred caused by the loss of my beautiful wife and infant son, I knew that I must remain focused and keep my head on a swivel, because outside these doors of this earthen tomb, there was a world I no longer knew, fractured by the hands of the foolish and the greedy. Nothing was off limits now. I would shoot, steal, kill my way to the top. Anything I had to do to get my son back. This is my story. Sometime after my release from stasis, I came to the conclusion that trusting anyone could put an abrupt end to the plans I laid forth. I did my best to survive in this new world. Luckily, and most fortunately, I was able to recover an invaluable wrist-worn device that allowed me better navigation throughout the land of the Scourge, as I like to call it. Radiation was ever present from fallout, even now 200 years after the bombs dropped. I sometimes pondered whether my mother, father, and other related somehow were as unfortunate as me to be frozen for as long as I was, and then brought back to what could only possibly be described as hell, the biblical version. Leads were thin for the boy. I thought I would never take a step that wasn't a backtrack. Of these leads was a well-preserved car dealership defended by old war robotics. At first all was just fine, till I realized that the long-deceased human owner didn't take the locks off those soon-to-be hostile grease troughs. So I did the next logical thing, for the good of the Commonwealth. I really never understood why they called it that. Looked like a lot of poverty to me.
Welcome to the Cambridge Polymer Labs.
My next dead-end lead, courtesy of Trash Bin Carla, you wonder why I had to put her down, brought me to the quaint setting of the Polymer Labs of downtown Boston. My journey nearly got cut short by a baby deathclaw and its bitch of a mother, but that's another story. The first thing I see inside is a greeter bot telling me about lab coats and grilling me about polymer synthesis. The stupid bullpen bot my Einstein story though. Apparently my goal was to gather 3 biosamples to make the teddy, but I'll be shucks if I wasn't immediately swarmed by risen dead. Similar to Rick and them boys back in the day. Needed waking up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I lost count. Deep down I loved blasting them away just as soon as the next grimy raider. At some point you begin to question sanity. I know I had. I never was very good with electronics, but somehow I passed 128-bit encryption firewalls and accessed some former Polymer Labs emails of days gone. Suffice it to say, the head scientist didn't have a lot of support near the end, especially after he sent a shipment of teddies lined with asbestos along with a pack of smokable cigarettes. Maybe the Scourge land wasn't that bad after all. After disabling the airlock through the terminals, since you know, robots and old owners, I was ambushed by the building's defense system. I was getting tired, so I decided I needed a drink. Don't ask me why. And the next thing I know, I got a dizzy robot trying to saw my ass off. First the cold lead, now I'm getting a rusty saw blade up my ass. Name's Molly. So much for the meet and greet. Molly. On my way to grab the next biosample, 1192B, I came across a glower. These monstrosities were uttered with silent whispers as they struck fear into the people of the poverty well. I was a little worried at first as my barbed boomstick made little impact, so I slammed home a clip into the trusty SMG, I call her Matilda, and laid the glower to rest. Upon finally obtaining the last sample to make, synthesize the bear, I headed back to the central processor. What transpired now was hours upon hours of system lockouts and near rage quits. It was exciting at the time, thinking I might finally get on the hot trail of where my son was. And wouldn't you know it, a goddamn piece of power armor. I vowed not to ever use one of those malfunctioning death trap suits again. The last time I almost drowned in the North Lake just outside of Sanctuary in one of those. Never again. Inside the Overseer's office, I found a glimmer of hope. It was going to be one of my son's favorite comics when he got older. Scars are cool. It was my favorite, and I would have made sure it was the boy's favorite too. As I sat in exhaustion from a day of car dealerships and homicidal robots, I hoped that somewhere my son knew I was looking for him. After this, I was going to kill Carla for the bad information and get some shut-eye. I would never stop until I was able to move no more, or until this hip finally gave out. I swore that thing was healthy before I was frozen over. Oh well.